Welcome to City Life. I'm Beverly Thompson. How do you want the City of Durham to spend your tax dollars? Do you want more sidewalks, improved parking, affordable housing? Joining me to talk about how you can make your voice heard in this annual process and all the ways the city listens to you when developing its annual budget are Bertha Johnson and Ben Kittelson. Bertha is the director of the city's Budget and Management Services Department, and Ben is a senior analyst in her department. Welcome to you both, and thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Bertha, I'm sure a lot of people probably tune out when they hear the word city budget, but this actually is one of the most important processes in any local government. Tell me, why should people care and want to get involved in their city budgets?
Well, Beverly, the budget is actually an expression of the city's priorities, the community's priorities. And so as you look at your family budget the same way, it reflects the priorities of your household.
Right.
So residents should want to know what the priorities are in the budget, as well as how we allocate their resources, their tax dollars to those priorities.
A critical component of creating the budget is getting feedback from residents. Why should residents bother to get involved in a multi-million-dollar budget, and how do you use their feedback?
Well, we actually start the budget process by using existing plans like our strategic plans, our sidewalk master plans to develop the annual budget. However, it's really important that we hear from residents to make sure those priorities are aligned with the existing priorities, the current priorities of the community. We want to hear feedback about pressing needs that might not be in plans that are developed 2 or 3 years ago. So it's really important that we have that timely feedback from our community.
And get it every year, actually, right?
Every year, all during the year, actually.
Makes a difference. Yeah. So can you give us some examples of how resident input resulted in any kind of budget changes, or even in the whole process, actually?
Yes, actually every year something is added during the budget process that wasn't in an existing plan, wasn't something that was brought forward by a department based on their departmental strategic plan. For example, last year we heard a lot from our residents as we went out throughout the community talking with our PAC districts as well as other community groups about police officers and a need for more sworn police officers. During the budget process, we actually added 20 sworn police officer positions. Another couple items we heard about during the coffees with council and other community meetings was about trees. We heard a lot about the tree canopy. We heard a lot about trails. And so we actually set aside funding to do an assessment on the tree assessment, a tree inventory, as well as a trail assessment study.
So resident feedback really makes a difference.
Really, when the voices are there, councils listen and we listen as well. And there may be things that the community is aware of or maybe a priority that's not in an existing plan.
I hear you. Okay. So Ben, I know there's a new way that residents can give feedback, and it's through a new online survey. Tell us a bit about the survey and how you will use the information.
Yeah, so it's a survey we developed, and we're calling it Pick Your Priority. And so we're asking residents to kind of take a look at some city services and rank what they think is the most important. So what if they had to choose, and they're not always easy choices, but if they had to choose, what would be the thing they'd rather the city do first? And so we've met with some community groups, a lot of the city's boards and commissions, and met with residents that way. And then it's also available online at the city's website. And that's open till March 31st.
March 31st.
Yeah, and it's a pretty simple one question survey. You just have to rank, I think it's 7 total city services, and we've been compiling data, and so far we've had over 1,300 responses, which has been great.
Wow, that is awesome. That is great feedback. So you said it's going to be up until March 31st, and people can go online anytime. And you said it's pretty simple, one question, right?
Yeah, it's less than 5 minutes. It's really easy.
That's really good. We couldn't make it any easier, but that's a great way to get feedback. You're also hosting a number of community meetings. They're called Coffees with Council. We've been doing them for a number of years now. How does that go, and is that a great way for you to get feedback as well?
Yes, our Coffees with Council have been going on, for a very long time. It is a good way, a consistent way to receive feedback from a subpopulation, of our community, because it's usually those persons who actually live in that PAC district who attend those meetings. But it's really important for the continuity of communication with that particular group. So that's one of the ways that we actually connect with a particular group. They know we go every year. They have meetings every month. We go once a year, and City Council is there to receive their feedback.
And I've attended a couple of those, and actually more than a couple, but it feels like people actually enjoy those meetings, and they love giving the kind of feedback that they know is going to make a difference.
And it's specific to their community. It's feedback that's specific to the community. The council is there, City Council is there to hear from that community about their issues and priorities.
And I know you also conduct another survey. It's called the Resident Satisfaction Survey every year. I just think that is amazing, and it's such a great way to give feedback. Tell us more about that survey.
We have been conducting the resident survey since 1999. We started out doing it every other year. We decided that the feedback would be more timely if we actually conducted the survey every year. It's an independent survey. It's conducted by ETC. The feedback is very useful because it is a statistically valid survey. We
ETC is a professional organization,
yes, professional organization.
Independent organization from the city.
Yes. And so with that survey, it's a citywide survey. You know, it's a random survey. We usually try to get about 480 responses. The great thing about the survey now is that last year we added the county, Durham County, to our survey, which means that they were allowed to ask questions about county services. And then this past year we had questions about Durham Public Schools. And so now we're able to have a holistic view of what the residents think about the community as a whole and the services that all of their government provides to them.
Now, what data do you collect, and how do you actually use that data?
Lots of questions about quality of service from our operational departments such as solid waste, code enforcement questions. We also ask questions about customer service and questions about what are the priorities, what do you think we need to focus on in the next 3 to 5 years. And so we share that information with our departments as they look for alignment in their strategic plan. We also share it with City Council, City Manager, and so all of us are using that data to look at, are we in line with what the community needs are, and what are our priorities and our plans, and do those priorities align with what we're hearing back from our community.
Let me take a step back. I know you mentioned the strategic plan. Tell me a little bit about that. And most people probably don't understand what a strategic plan really is when it comes to city government operations.
So we have a citywide strategic plan, and we also have departmental strategic plans. Our citywide plan is a plan we use to make decisions about how we allocate resources. And then our departments have plans that align with the citywide plan. We have the 5 goals, we have objectives, and more importantly, we have initiatives. And so all of the initiatives in the plan are initiatives that are supposed to help us meet our objectives and our goals. And so we're really focused when we develop the budget, as I mentioned, on looking at what initiatives are in our strategic plan and how do we complete those initiatives, because of those initiatives are supposed to help us reach our ultimate outcomes.
Gotcha. Great explanation. Thank you so much. So I know you probably have some of the results of the latest survey, 2016.
I do.
Can you give us a preview of what we're going to find out?
Well, I'm excited to say that in the survey, 80% of our residents see Durham as an excellent place to live, which is really great. Only 8% we only received an 8% negative response. So that is great for us, and it tells us that we're on the right track. We're headed in the right direction with our community. We also, 73% are satisfied with overall quality of life in our neighborhoods, which is great compared to 12% who are dissatisfied. So we're really excited about those results. There are lots of other areas of improvement, but those are 2 high-level results that are really important to us in terms of how our residents feel about the community as a whole.
So what about areas that residents wanted to see improvements?
We did not see a surprise in that area. They are streets, public schools, police protection, and flow of traffic. We would not have gotten the information about public schools had we not added Durham Public Schools to our survey last year, and that was actually the #1 priority for the community, and so we were able to share that information with the county as well as the schools, and also as we think about our priorities as a city, how can we support that priority for the community.
So it's all about working together as a community
Absolutely,
with the local governments as well as the schools to make sure we meet community needs. I just think that is so awesome. I know you have information you get from those three sources: the surveys, satisfaction survey, and the online survey. And you also get feedback from various boards and commissions as well. And how do you take all of that feedback and come up with a budget? Is it magic?
No, it's not magic, but it's a lot of work. We are truly grateful for all the feedback we receive from this community. This is a very engaged community. But having various tools, sometimes people say, well, you have a survey and now you're asking me for additional feedback. But having rich data allows us to break it out in terms of what is important to neighborhoods, what's important to different stakeholder groups, folks who are, who are avid, bike riders, who are walkers, youth, other demographics, seniors, so getting information through all of those different various ways helps us to provide more information to our departments who are trying to develop budgets that support the community, to our city council, and also so that we can share back with residents, based on their community. Here's what we heard from your community, but here's what we heard citywide. And so that's why we're focusing our resources in this direction versus another direction.
I think it's so important. This is the way you guys take the time to reach out to the community to find out what they're really thinking and how they can be a part of the whole process. Because, like I said in the beginning, it's thinking about a budget is really, something we don't like doing, especially when we go shopping or something like that. But it's really
we want to try to make it easy for people.
And it actually is kind of going shopping for what we as a city need. So that's how we make it.
And we have
relevant.
limited resources, just like, and so we always use that analogy in terms of your household, because we have limited resources and we have debt, just like you have in your household, and we have infrastructure needs, big ticket expenses, and ongoing expenses, and so it's really a great idea to get engaged. It's sometimes intimidating, but when you think about it like that, it's not as intimidating. You have a certain amount of money, and you have lots of needs, and you have to figure out how to allocate those needs to the most pressing and the highest priority.
Great, sounds good. I know you have more coffees with councils coming up in March.
Yeah, so we've got three more coming up on March 9th at 5:30 p.m. We've got one at the City Hall, or in their committee room, which is on the second floor of City Hall for anybody that hasn't been there. And then on Saturday, March 11th at 10 a.m., we've got one at Campus Hills Recreation Center. And then on March 18th at 9:30, there's one at Holton Career and Resource Center. Okay,
so. And if people can't make those and they still want to get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can contact us, or that we have 2 public hearings coming up. So all cities, all local governments are required to do at least 1 public hearing. We've got 2, so that's twice the opportunity for you to come if you can't make one of those copies of the council. One is on March 6th and one's on June 5th.
Okay.
And they're both during regular city council meetings, so it's at 7 p.m. At City Hall. You can also email the assistant budget director. Well, make him answer those emails.
Right.
And his name's John Allure. He's assistant director, and so he'll be happy to answer any questions that people have.
Great.
And I was going to say, if all else fails, call us. We'll come out to your group. I mean, I think Ben had a list of 17 groups he's visiting during this process to get feedback. If you have a group, organization, a neighborhood association, if you want us to come out and talk with you about the budget and get your feedback, we're happy to do that as well.
That is awesome. Talking about giving the community a chance to participate.
So it's no excuse.
No excuse at all.
We'll come to you.
Right, great. So we've come to the end of our show. Are there any final closing remarks you'd like to make, Bertha, about the whole process and when it is and how people can still get involved?
I want people to really feel comfortable being engaged in the process, not be intimidated by the process. I mean, we're here to engage the community and using their resources, the taxpayers' resources, and making sure that we address the issues and concerns and priorities in the entire community. So I don't want people to feel intimidated about the budget process. Join us, have a conversation with us, share your feedback with us.
Great, great. There you have it. Any final words?
Well, I would only add, if you're going to come give your feedback, come tell us about the specific thing that you want to see improved in your neighborhood, because we might not hear about it otherwise. So we've got a lot of broad ideas around, sidewalks or parks, but if you come and say, hey, there's this empty lot on my corner that I think would make for a great park, or I want a sidewalk next to my school in my neighborhood, come give that feedback, because then we can see if it's in our plans and in the budget for next year.
Great. So. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, that does it for City Life. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and watch us on Durham Television Network and on YouTube. I'm Beverly Thompson. Thank you for joining me to learn more about City Life in Durham.